Hello walkers, and welcome to Ortazai or St. Ulrich in the Dolomites. You're looking at Sassalungo over there, and we are actually starting at St. Jacob's Church here today. My name is Henry. I'll be your proxy walker today, your virtual travel guide, your co-discoverer. I've been up here taking some photos as we make our way down here. It is 5,200 feet, 1,500 and some odd meters, 60 degrees Fahrenheit, 16 degrees Celsius, 3 p.m. at the beginning of October. I'm going to let you guys see the church here in a second, and then we'll continue on our way. We're about a mile away from Ortazai, the town. This is San Giacomo, or St. Jacob's. It actually dates back to, they think possibly 1181, but the first written evidence is 1283. St. Jacob, I think, is the patron saint of travelers, and this is on formerly a major traveling route. But now there's so many trails and that sort of thing around that it's hard to discern one route from another at this point. Ortazai is down that way. We could take a trail down to town through the woods, but I thought it might be more interesting to venture back through some of the buildings and hotels and that sort of thing. Hello. We'll just go into the churchyard here. Poke in here a little bit. Thank you to our Patreon supporters. Today, I want to give you guys a shout out. Look at these beautiful flowers here at the beginning of the church. There's a little cemetery here. Check out our website at citywalksvirtualtours.com for better organized, easier to find videos. So to the right is Sassalungo and Mediolungo, and then off to the left here in the snow-capped stuff is the Sella group. And look at these paintings on this church, little chapel. Lots of history here, surrounded by this little wall, which is kind of neat. Look at that view over there. Hello. Hello. This area is predominantly Latin speaking, which is a Romance-ish language, separate from Italian and French and Spanish and all that other stuff. Look at the, you can see a couple different trails here. And of course, one of the many places, these little troughs with a fountain that you can refill your water bottle as we make our way down. If you've been to Ortazai, St. Ulrich before, please give us a shout out in the description below. Mention these walks to your friends if you think they'd be helpful or interesting. I'm walking, I took the bus up most of the way. It's about a 45-minute walk, otherwise, hour walk uphill. And I like to walk downhill for you guys so you don't have to listen to me huff and puff too much. It was beautifully sunny, and now we're getting some clouds rolling in. Such a beautiful day today, early October, and they had a festival or a holiday today, Sunday, Festival of the Rosaries, or All Rosaries. And they've been ringing the bells all morning, all day. Hello. Hi. And having a little parade go march back and forth. And we haven't actually seen it because we're not sure of the schedule. We did, however, yesterday go over to Castle Roto, aka Castle Ruth, which is about a valley over between here and Bolzano. You can actually see Sopra Bolzano from there. And they had the Transumanza, I think it is. There's another word in German I don't remember, and it's basically when they bring the cows down from the high pastures and they dress them up, and they have these giant cowbells. They're literally, they could hold a couple gallons of water. They get all dressed up and they parade the cows down through town, and people hand them shots, and of course there's a party, and you could buy beers and food and all that stuff, so pretty fun. Now this is where, oh no, I can go this way. There's a couple different sub-trails here. Oh, look at these views, guys. Look at this guy coming up on his bike, man, that's awesome. Down here to the right is the little hamlet, which apparently is called St. Jacobs as well. Over to our left, we've got some donkeys and burros on the hillside, some free-range chickens out free-ranging. Oh, look down here, guys. You probably can't make them out, but just between those trees in that field are a couple of deer. Really, we've seen one other deer the whole time we've been here. Kind of neat to see a little bit of wildlife. Now, I am hoping that this trail that we're on will lead down to that road. I'm not entirely sure it is. I've seen a surprising number of trampolines since we've been here. I don't remember seeing those in Europe very often. Kind of neat. We actually hiked down from the middle of that. Can't really, it's been a little, where we hiked is, see that snow field? Kind of comes down from the left, and it's obscured. It's a little valley in there. That was a week ago. Look at this, guys. There's those deer again. Awesome. Love the way the sun plays out with the shadows on these little valleys and ravines. I'm hoping we'll get dropped down on that road there. Looks like we will. Sometimes you take a risk on these and hope for the best. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. We've started to get the autumn colors here just recently, just in the last week or two since we got here. This is a little, I think, maybe a place that's either has rooms or something. It's named Pedrozia, yeah, apartment rental. Tons of apartments and restaurants and refugios and everybody serving up the hello, ciao, serving up towards all the tourists that come here, and there are a ton like us that love this barn over here because it is absolutely beautiful. There's so many what am I looking for? So accessible, so many hotels and restaurants and bars and places to stay and things to do, mainly hiking. There's a ton of gondolas. There's our church up there, St. Jacob's. And this time of year, we homeschool our kids, so they're not in school and we can be here traveling around, but most people are retired, looks like, of that age, and man, they just go. They go for it. I admire and envy their stamina. I hope I can keep on doing this stuff at that age. Trying not to sound patronizing, but I really do. I don't know the word for it. I'm impressed by the activity level. Because this stuff's deep, man. All right. Love that cute little place. One of the things I like we are literally a mile from town. You have these little, it's not a big town, but it's a couple thousand people all packed together. And then you have these they're almost just little neighborhoods, and they've got restaurants and hotels and barns and farms and bus stops and all the stuff you need, really, to do what you want to do out here, and just stunning views, of course. Little barn. I think in my Selva walk, I mentioned the firewood and how it's cut much smaller than we typically cut it in the States for most stoves. I'm sure there's a lot of exceptions there. Lots of different types of stoves. Love this woodwork. But I'll try and show some on the way down. Oh, it's fantastic. Look at that flower pot made out of a stump. I love it. Still a ton of bees flying around. Luech da Flancone. I don't know how to pronounce Latin, so pardon any mistakes there. And most of these names are in Latin, Ladin. I often talk about real estate prices, especially around where I live, because they've pretty much exploded. And I was talking to our landlord at our apartment. He was saying there are cheaper rents, and there's the bus stop. It's amazing how they drive these buses around here, and it is more of a transit van, but on this route, but still, it's pretty amazing. Anyway, he was saying 7,000 to 10,000 per square meter. 7,000 for locals, 10,000 for non-locals. If you were to build on this lot over here, you would not be able to sell to anyone but locals. Average rents are about 1,000 for locals. Hello, pup. About 1,000 euros per month. And the average salary for someone who works in the area, in the tourist trade, is about, after taxes, about 1,800 euros. So you don't have a whole lot left over. Look at this. I mean, talk about idyllic. And I will swing around from time to time because I think the better view is uphill, but I don't want to walk uphill. This region over to our left, behind, sort of there's this big mountain, and then on the far side is a series of I've heard it described as prairies or plains, but it's basically an undulating plain up high, and it's called the Alpi di Suissi. The other thing I like here is a lot of solar-powered stuff and e-bikes. So you see a lot of solar panels, and a lot of, I saw a couple, forget what they're called, but they're basically where you heat your water with solar power, solar rays, and some clear tubes with your heating element inside. I don't know exactly how they work, but apparently they work pretty well. Here's an old house. Look at the shingling on top. It's like just wooden planks with some other smaller stuff in the middle. And then that bulge over by the firewood. Oh, you can see the firewood I was talking about. Those little pieces, right? And then that bulge is part of an oven or stove or fireplace. Love this. Who knows how old this building is? And this place is known for wood carving. So you've got all these very intricate, detailed carvings. It's really phenomenal that they don't just dry up and shatter. I actually took a wood carving class the other day. Wasn't much of a class, but it was wood carving. Love the, I really like the roof here, the multicolored roof. There's a couple of them around. This one's green and yellow, and the others I've seen are blue, various shades of blue. Some waitresses in their drindles. Here, look at this hotel. Ansitz in Koberhof. It's also really impressive to me how they build on these sites. Of course, they build into the hill, and a lot of these have underground parking and basements and that sort of thing. Up here it looks like we have a little bridge over to the house and garage from the street. They're putting in a new house over here. The apartment we're staying in is probably 600 square feet, maybe 800, but probably 600. And our landlord was saying that that was probably worth $1 million right now. Speaking of property prices, there's some e-bikes. Love it. And here's that little bridge I was talking about. So this is off to the right here is a more modern place. And you can see they've put a garage underneath. I was mentioning Latin, and it's, I think 60%, 70% of people here speak Latin. The rest speak Italian and German. Most people speak all three, I believe. Look at this, look at those flowers. Let's go see the flowers. There's a little deer up there. 2 of them. Maybe that's the same ones. Little guys. Probably full grown, but compared to North American. There's a trail down there I could have given a shot. But this will have better views eventually. They also have a lot of benches and picnic tables scattered around. It's kind of nice. In between refugios and restaurants. So there's a gray line up there, kind of about 3/4, 4/5 of the way up from the road on that far slope. That's a funicular line. So a little train that just goes up and down. Kind of a cable, not really a gondola cable car, but kind of like a streetcar, but on, I don't know, it's a funicular. Nice little viewpoint. That's Ortizai down there. The Salvanel bus stop, if you're following along on a map. Here's that trail that I was looking at before. Folks down there doing yard work. Look at this little bench over here. It's kind of almost hidden. This old building over here on the right, half house, half barn. Love it. A lot of them have these cross pieces along the balconies of the barns. Not exactly sure what that's for, but I think they might put hay out there. It helps keep it in, or it may be for drying something. Looks like that's been converted all the way into a home. This is the Albergo Stucatores, also a guest house. It's got a picture of a partridge on it. That Sassolungo really does dominate the skyline. Another trail up there. You can see, I think a lot of these trees are larch, and they're starting to turn. Larch, of course, are a needled tree, like a pine tree, but it loses its needles in the winter. And they use a lot of this electric tape to hem in livestock. It's cheap, it's easy, and it's movable. Here down there is the, believe, it's the far side, which is called Uberwasser, or Sopro Torrento. I don't remember exactly. It's technically in a different town, but it's pretty much Ortisei. Because there's a river that comes down here. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. Ooh. This left there looks like a little pedestrian way. It's got a trail sign on it up there on the corner. Interesting. Oh, there's, sorry, I'm going to swing you around here. Firewood down there, tiny little things. Kids playing. Look at that view. That's what I mean by the light. There's shadow, there's sunlight, there's meadows and forests and slopes and just all kinds of depth. Visually, very interesting to me. You can see how steep this hill is, looking down at the neighbors. Like this modern building too. Pretty cool. Okay, I mentioned up at St. Jacobs that there was a path through the woods. And up here on the right is where it dumps out. It's a really beautiful path. Great, nice walking, but it's not quite as scenic. You don't have quite the views and you don't get to see the houses that we did on this walk. So that's why I went this way. But you can see it's a nice gravel trail, at least in that part, through the trees. Gorgeous. Look at the colors of those, whatever that tree is. Then you get down, that yellow building with the blue tiled roofs is the Adler Hotel. Very she, very nice. Bunch of other hotels, of course, down here, down there, straight down there, I think. You can kind of see the Antonio Platz or San Antonio Platz, which is where you pick up the buses. Most of them. I mean, there's bus stops around, but that's the main bus station. And the center of Old Town, right off the pedestrian ways. Very good. I think these kids are in trouble. A little drama. That lady is just cruising up there because she's on an electric bike. You can see the gardens and lawns of the Adler Hotel below. All the chairs and the pools and the saunas and glass pyramids and oh, beautiful. And then of course you got this nearby, this little house here that's really old. We'll walk by that, I think, in another walk where we walk through the town proper. And it's really kind of this neat old, I don't know, 100, 200-year-old home that's beautiful in its own way, but also not modern or glossed up, you know. I like modern buildings. I just, you know, there's these buildings which are newer and very well maintained, but they don't have quite the same character as an old home that's showing a little bit of its age. So off to the right here, where they're doing this work, is a little path that goes up to a chairlift that will take you up to Secheda, which is a famous area in this area, famous place. So you see it a lot in pictures. It's got this grassy slope, and then angling up fairly steeply, and then on the other side, steep cliff. Off to the right here, we'll swing around when it's safe, and cross the street. And I'll show you one of the little creeks that comes down from there. On the other side, you can see the station right off, but somewhere right over in there is the funicular station. And so the other day we walked from the funicular station back down here, which was beautiful. And I think I filmed part of that. Look at this old wooden bridge, and look at this beautiful sylvan stream down here. And this is, I think, Santa Ana, this church here. Sorry, I should have given you more views of it, but we will be seeing more of it on another walk. As we get down here into the old section, and look at this. I'm sorry. I know I'm swinging you guys around a lot. I don't mean to do that. Try to slow it down. And there is a sort of sewer runoff, but I don't know, just a nice creek. Thank you guys so much. As we come down here, we'll end up at the Chiesa di Cultura, or the information point, the Tourist Information Center, which is that modern building there, as well as this gorgeous church here, the primary one in town. It's been ringing its bells all morning. Fantastic. I want to thank you guys for joining us. Here's some outdoor cafes. And join us again soon. We'll be walking again here in Ortizai, St. Ulrich, and showing you around the town. Here's a neat little fountain with water pouring down. Until then, check out our other walks, but also keep on stepping. I'm going to walk you down here to the corner to give you a better view. A little taste of Old Town as we pass a couple cafes and hotels and a bunch of music pouring out in the street, which we all know I love. E-bikes racing around, a lot of dogs. Fun, 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 fun. All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Again, we'll see you soon. And until then, keep on stepping.